Hi everyone, I thought it was about time I did a sort of autumnal leaf type video before autumn leaves. Good pun there. Before autumn finishes and we're into winter colouring. So I grabbed this page, it's a download from Agotapop, and I did a picture from it. Not this particular page. I have printed it double-sided by mistake, so you can. Thought I would do these 3 leaves. There's lots of really cute pictures on here. You can find it on her Etsy store. I will say this: I've got a link in my description, 10% off if you want to buy anything. I'm not an affiliate or anything. She just sends me the pages for free to sort of promote, and then I download them and show them to you. But I was looking for some leaves to colour because I thought I would show you a few different ways to do autumn leaves, and I thought these 3 would be good. But there were so many gorgeously cute pictures on this page, so that, you know, the leaves seems a little bit less cute, but I wanted to show you leaves, which is why I particularly picked this particular motif. But on the these are her autumn tinies, cute autumn tinies, I think they are called. Let me just try and get it into the centre of the frame. There we go. So the leaf you can see behind is actually printed behind, so it's because it's on copy paper and I accidentally printed it double-sided, so I'm sorry about that, but we'll just be able to ignore that, I'm sure. Now I'm using my Pablo pencils just because I want to. And they've got quite a nice autumnal selection of colours. However, if you don't have them, I do have a conversion chart in my Ko-fi shop of Pablos to Prismas and Pablos to polychromos. So I'll try and remember to put some links to those. In fact, I'll write myself a note on my notebook there. I'll include a link in the description, so if you've only got polys or prismas, you should be able to find equivalent colours. Mine might not be exact, but very similar. Right, let's start this top leaf. Now, none of these leaves are going to be green because autumn leaves for me aren't green. Now, of course, there's lots of green autumn leaves, but that's not what I associate with autumn. And we're going to start with the, I'm just finding it, the russet. Okay, in this set, the russet is a sort of orangey red. Okay, but we're not going to do every leaf the same colour. Now, when I do my leaves, I like to sort of flow one colour into the other, blend them neatly. But if you actually look at autumn leaves, that isn't how they look. But I would rather do it my way than do it realistically, I'm afraid. So I'm going to just start pinning down quite a heavy layer of this russet. And now I'm going to fade it a little bit so that we can put another colour in to blend it into. So I'm just fading it down. I'm going to come back to my russet later. So it's just a little bit rough at the moment, but that's fine. And then I'm going to do a different colour in the middle and a different colour on the tip. It might look a bit stripy. Perhaps we'll do it slightly less. We might do a different colour down there just so it doesn't look like a stripe, because that might be a bit strange. So I'm going to choose my next colour. I'm thinking we might move away from the reds. We might could do an orange, that'd be quite bright. Maybe the Venetian red might be a bit less bright. So this is our Venetian red. Now these pencils, although this one is quite blunt, they do sharpen to a really good point. So if you're doing your Johanna Basford's new book, these actually work quite well. I've used them on one of the pictures already. This is quite a similar colour, isn't it? And yeah, I was really pleased with how it looks. So I'm going to fade that up a bit there. They look so similar. But I'm going to go for an ochre next. Now we have a plain ochre, brown ochre, golden ochre, light ochre and green ochre. It's quite a lot to choose from. I'm going to grab the brown ochre first and do a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe on the tips they might be a bit duller, like there's almost a bit of dead. Sounds nice, doesn't it? There, and maybe the same now. I'm just going over what I've done already. Mix it in a bit. There we go. On the tip, yeah, I think on this bit too. It's funny, my son was just, did you see the news, Mum? It's just a political story. It's nothing too exciting. But yeah. My sister had already told me about it when I was out. It's like, everyone's talking about it. This is ochre. This is a, for those of you in the UK, it's about a week and a bit ago, a cabinet reshuffle. That means the Prime Minister has a different people in charge of different departments. Just moving it around a bit. It's a lovely warm colour. So I'm just starting to blend it all together with this one. And then in that space we're going to do a lighter one. There's a light ochre. Ooh. There we go. Light ochre. I'm just going to pop that in there. Now, if you, as I say, if you look at an autumn leaf, it doesn't have this gradual colour change. It's just, usually you get a patch of red or brown, a dead bit here and there, and maybe even a bit of green. But I think this looks rather pretty. So that's why I'll do it that way. There we go. So these are here are the colours, just so you can see. So we've got a sort of browny orangey ochres. Okay. We'll do the next one different. So I'm thinking maybe we'll go at a darker brown to start with. Just looking at what I've got. We'll go maybe the umber. It's really quite dark. We could do this sort of stalk stick bit with the umber. It looks black in the camera. It is brown. Whoops! Keep catching my bit of paper. There we go. I'm resting on another book. Sometimes I don't mind leaning straight on the table, but not today. Don't know why. I'm going to do a little bit of brown in there, just a tad. Now for these two, we've got a tiny bit of stalk drawn in. I'm going to just go over that in the brown, because it wouldn't be black. And then do a little bit here, and a little bit here. There we go. Now, I'm thinking quite a dark brown next. Maybe brown. It's a little bit orangey, but I think it will look rather nice. So here it's just called brown. It's not very descriptive, is it? But you'll see. It's quite an orangey colour. Me and my husband were just talking about what colour to have our new sofa that we're thinking of getting. And we were both thinking burnt sienna might be nice. Because we've got a brown carpet, which is, well, it's very pale brown, like beige, I suppose. Just gonna fade that up a bit more, maybe on that side, a bit more than that side. Of us, it just looks a bit too stripy, like that. And I'm thinking olive brown might be the way to go here. So it's a bit greeny. If it's too greeny, I will change it. Olive brown. But we were thinking, because as I say, we've got brownish carpet. It's quite a neutral beige. And then for our curtains, we've got terracotta and gold. So we thought we might tie it together. We didn't really want to go the gold. Our current sofa is mustard. It goes very well with the curtains. They were bought to match it. But we don't really want that pale colour again. It was probably a poor choice. Although we haven't got little kids anymore, so maybe it would work. I think we need to go into the shop and look at the colour swatches. There we go. Not stayed in the lines very well, but there we go. And now I'm thinking orange and yellow. So I don't know how bright I want to go. I think the reddish orange is quite a good starting place. Reddish orange. And I'm going to do that on the tip because we've got orange here. and you can see it's not really very red, which is why I picked it. Go a bit darker up here, again to avoid the sort of stripy look. Now I'm thinking, maybe fast orange next. Ooh, fast orange. I always lean on my Colouring Heaven magazine. It's quite good. It's quite good for leaning on. I do colour in it too. I don't just lean on it. I was noticing that Colour with Claire had a giveaway. I was just watching the video. It was quite a good one actually. Some Staedtler pencils and other Staedtler goodies and Secret Gardens anniversary edition and the yellow rest. And yeah, I was thinking that looks good. I'm not going to enter because I have that set of Staedtler pencils and the blending pencil that she showed and some good sharpeners and a copy of Secret Garden, not that one but the regular one. So I thought I'd leave it for someone else to win. But there we go. Haven't spent very long, have we, doing that one? What should we do? Should we do another one? There's one here. Could do that one. Look at the hearts. I like the hearts. What should we do with this one? We could start with this colour. This is the English Red. It's quite like the russet that we used for our very first leaf. I'm thinking this time maybe I'll go around the edge. So you can see it's not really red. It's a sort of very orangey colour. I don't know why it's called English Red. I would associate an English Red with being like a red coat of a guard outside Buckingham Palace, or a post box or a telephone box. Those certainly aren't this shade of red, but that's okay. It's just a strange name choice, but then many colours are, to be fair. Like a French grey. Why do we associate certain greys with French? Maybe there is a reason. I have no idea. Right, so we've done that one and now we need to go. Which way should we go for this? We could go to orange, we could go to brown, we could go to green. I think I will use, I think I'm going to go, yeah. I'm going to go flame red next. I'm going to go over what I've done. Just bring it in a little more. Now these small pictures by Agotapop are rather like Johanna Basman's small pictures in her Small Victories. Not only are they a good size to finish fairly quickly if you want to do it fast, I mean you can spend a long time over it if you wish and do tiny detailing. I'm going to not colour the heart. I'm going to make it look as if it's a nibbled bit of the leaf. I don't know if that will work. I'm going to try it and see if it works. But also I think they're drawn in the same cute, cosy style as Johanna's, which is rather nice. I'm now going to go slightly more yellowy. I'm wondering whether to jump straight to an ochre. I think I might go to yellow first. I might do Naples yellow. Just a little bit of Naples. Naples yellow. Now we're going to start to avoid this little heart as well. So that one again looks like a nibble. I think a nibble is something in computing, isn't it? Like bits and bytes and then you can get nibble. I don't know what it is. I've just heard the phrase. My dad, my husband are into IT. They work, my dad worked in IT, my husband works in IT, my son's studying computing. You hear these words? Right, I'm going to use the golden ochre next. So I'm going to go a little bit darker again. What I'm going to do is actually start from the centre and then fade out towards the other yellow. I think otherwise it might just totally take over everything. I'm going to do the stalk. Okay, I think that's a little bit rough. I'm going to go over all of it again and sharpen my pencil first. I think this one. Anyway. Ooh. That made me jump. So back to our English red. I'm just going to do it a little bit harder. With it being a little bit of a bigger leaf, just needs a few more layers. I was reading about a very local initiative for art for helping people with mental health, and I thought how good that was. There's a little exhibition in our shopping centre of some of the art that's been being done in some of the classes. It's mainly for loneliness, and this is what they do is someone teaches the class and then people paint. It's painting, I think, but there's no pressure to speak, so if they feel like they're not up for mingling with people, they can just enjoy doing the art and relaxing without having to socialise, and I thought that was really good. This is flame red because not everybody is outgoing. I'm certainly not. It's weird because I go out and I talk to every person, but if there's a party I dread it. It's really funny. But yeah, so I think that's really nice for people who aren't in the right frame of mind for talking to people, or who are just naturally shy and quiet, or just want to be on their own and do their own thing in a way, but just know there are others nearby if they need them. I thought it was a fantastic initiative. I'm going to do the golden ochre next and do the yellow as my final layer. Yeah, I thought it was really lovely. And but it's just painting, and I thought, colouring books might be good for some people who don't have the confidence with painting a picture. But this is Naples yellow. Just going to go over the yellow bit. When I read a bit more about it, I saw the idea was that the teacher teaches you to express your emotion through art, so it helps people express themselves. So I thought it was a little bit different with colouring books, because you do have some freedom, but not quite in the same way. But it's still very, very good for my mental health, and I'm assuming the same for other people too, as I've heard that people say it. Now what I want to do with this leaf is just go around the tips with a really dark brown. I'm going to use the Van Dyke brown. We don't have a lot of what I would call standard dark browns. We do have a number, I've used it, haven't I? Van Dyke brown. So I want to just go around the tip of each leaf. I don't know why, I just feel like I want a little bit brown. So really, autumn colour isn't too tricky. It could be a lot of fun. There we go. I'm thinking I want to do this leaf. Now what should we do for this one? See, I'll show you a bit of green as well, because it can be tempting to do green, and of course autumnal colour is green. So this green looks good. This is the olive, and it's going to mix nicely with another colour I have in mind. So for this leaf I'm just going to use 2 colours, and I would normally be tempted to just take that colour halfway and then put a different colour on that end, but because they're so vastly different I think it's going to look really odd if I do that, so I'm going to actually make it patchy and see how that works. So I'm going to put patch here and then fade it off, and then a patch here and sort of fade it a bit, maybe a bit there, and we'll see if it works. This is the green ochre, so it's a bit of a yellowy colour, sorry, there we go, and I'm going to put it in the space. In fact, I could go over the whole thing with it, might be better. And then when I've gone over it, you can see that some areas are lighter and some are darker. I'm going to go back to the olive and just darken up the olive areas a little bit now. Just blending it in. There we go. Now, let's see. We could do, this owl's got a couple. Got one on Mr. Snail. No, we'll do this one and make that one the last one, I think. We haven't gone really, really dark. Let's do it, yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to grab the sepia, which is almost a grey brown, and oops, let's put it in the middle. Can we come in at all? Yeah, no, not much. Let's do the stem, stalk, whatever we want to call it, there, and the tip of each leaf. Fade it down. It's almost grey, but I'm going to go over it with my next colour so it won't look quite so grey. It's also a bit blunt. I really should sharpen it, but you know, laziness and all that. Now I'm going to go for the burnt sienna. Go over that stalk a tad, but it's this bit that I'm interested in really. Got a sort of almost rust colour, I think. I find that if you go out and look at autumn trees, it's so inspirational, but just beautiful. They would look really nice this afternoon. It's sunny and it's been raining, and wet, shiny leaves are just, I think, just gorgeous. Now, where are we going to go? Slightly lighter mahogany, I think. This is a really nice colour, I think. Now, if you're not using this set, just match the best you can. I'm sure you can find some similar colours. And if you haven't got any reddish browns, you can always add some red to a brown, so a light layer of red, a bit of a light layer of brown. Just layer it up until you get the colour that you want. Okay, I want to go to hazel, but I think the jump is too difficult. Let's go cinnamon instead. This is a little bit lighter, but fairly close. Just going over those veins of the leaf. There we go. So there's how to do quite a dark brown leaf. Now, this isn't some sort of magic. I'm just combining colours that I associate with autumn and colouring my leaves. You can do whatever you want. Go for whatever colours that you enjoy using, really. You know, we sort of associate browns and reds and oranges and yellows, but really there are some very deep purples. Oh, excuse me. Obviously all the greens you can bring in as well. That I try to avoid green as much as I could, just to show you something a bit different, although obviously there are a few greens in there. And lots and lots of options, but mixing it up a bit. This one here, the first one I did, is probably the most realistic, where you have got different patches of colour, but I blended them together. Yeah, so have a go, have a look at the autumn colour. If you don't have trees near you, just go onto your search engine and just put autumn colour. Look at, is it New England, Maine and places like that are just gorgeous colour leaves. I mean, obviously England, we get, there's a arboretum called Westonbirt that has really pretty ones as well. Any sort of Japanese maples or acer trees, they're always very pretty. So there's a lot of things to look at that could help and inspire you. But hopefully that's given you a few ideas anyway to do something a little bit different to green, and to get in with the seasonal colours. So there we go. So as I said, don't forget I've got some charts if you want to convert the colours and find the nearest matches in your prisms and polys. Otherwise you may have these pencils, or I don't know if you've got Caran d'Ache luminants whether the colours are the same. I've got no idea, but I'm sure you can find something to use that's similar. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that was interesting for you. Yeah, I had fun. I might go away and colour the rest of the page, to be honest. It's a really lovely page. Yeah, I might just do that. Or maybe spend the rest of the day. No, I really ought to do something else, but hey, you know, well, we'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.